Hello and welcome to another episode of Leadership Satsang. I'm your leadership coach, Yukti Kapoor Mendirata. Thank you so much for accepting me as your coach and for connecting with me every single week, every Tuesday at 8 p.m. Indian Standard Time. Today is Independence Day for us, for Indians, and I want us all to salute the spirit of this country and to wish each other happy Independence Day from the core of our hearts. So, wish you all a very happy Independence Day. Let's have some wishes floating in the comments as well as you share which part of the world are you in. And with that, let's also bring in the Indian spirit, the spirit that wants to set free. And to understand what freedom means, we need to go a little deeper than from where it is right now for us. Independence or freedom is not just limited to a country experiencing their own powers and setting their own governance in place. It's also about the way we choose to live every day of our life. And so I thought the best way to celebrate Independence Day would be to bring that sense of freedom in our life, to set ourselves free from our many, many worries. And that's exactly what we will do. I'm going to share with you two very powerful techniques to set yourself free from worries. How many of you worry? Say me in comments, please. If you worry, thank you so much for your wishes. Happy Independence Day to each one of you. I am a very proud Indian, and I'm sure you are as well. And what makes me proud is the fact that it's a beautiful, diverse land that allows people to be who they are. And that is not a small deal at all. I think it's a huge deal with the many problems that we might be facing as a country. There is so much that we have as reasons to be proud of who we are as Indians. So, thank you so much. And other people from all over the world who also believe that there is something to learn when we look at Indians and their spirit means a lot to us. And I feel that every country has a lot of learning to offer and their own unique beauty. Today is the day when we celebrate Indian beauty and Indian spirit. So thank you so much. And with that, let's bring in a deeper sense of freedom in our life. We've got some worries, as I see in the comments, and in just 30 minutes, you're going to see a way to let these worries leave you alone. That's what's going to happen. We're going to learn to deal with these worries more effectively. But before we go ahead, let's bring ourselves into this moment. Let's practice the practice of being in the present moment. So we know the drill. I would like you to please close your eyes, sit comfortably wherever you are, ensure that your spine is straight and shoulders are relaxed. If you're wearing glasses, you can keep your glasses aside. We will chant Om together. We'll do it 5 times. I request you to do it out loud wherever you are, if you can, and allow yourself to feel those vibrations. Om is 3 syllables coming together. Om. We will inhale first, and as we exhale, we will start the chant. We'll say O till the end, till the mid of our breath, and then Ma till we can exhale. Let's take this slow and nice and prepare ourselves with a few breaths in and out first. Breathe in and breathe out. Allow yourself to be here in this moment completely with another breath in. Feel the breath as you breathe out. And with the next breath, let's prepare ourselves to start chanting. Just be with those vibrations for a bit. And with the next breath in, and start rubbing your palms together till you feel warmth between your palms. And then gently place them on your eyes and face and neck, and slowly open your eyes. Welcome to Leadership Satsang today with me as we prepare ourselves to handle and deal with these many worries that we get stuck with, that we're surrounded with, that takes away so much of our energy. So before I share the techniques with you, tell me, are you here with me? And say with you in the comments. Let's have with you in the chat box, please. Are you with me? Are you here in this moment with me? Yes, feeling nice, Rajat. Wonderful. Nice to have you here. Hi, Sanjay. Yeah, worry is normal. Absolutely. Wonderful, Vaibhav. I'm glad you enjoyed the chant. I would encourage you to do that in your own space at least 10 times. If you could do this at the start of the day, trust me, you will prepare yourself in a very different way to face whatever the day has to offer. With me? Awesome. Awesome. All right. So, yes, let's accept the fact that worries will keep showing up. What we need to do is to learn how to deal with them in a better way. Now, let's get the context right. There are things that are happening in the present moment. When we experience anxiety, is when we are thinking more about the future, right? What's going to happen? We anticipate future and we are kind of worried about what the future will look like. So, worry, anxiety is when we, in our mind, are stepping ahead of the present moment. Depression, on the other hand, is usually caused by things that have happened in the past. It's more related to the past. There could be various other reasons that can cause depression, but mostly it's related to things that have happened in the past. So that's, when we look back and when we are anticipating the future, when we are looking ahead or thinking ahead of the present moment, is when we start worrying or we feel anxiety. Do these things do good to us? Well, I don't think there's much debate to accept that it doesn't serve us well. Does it help in any way? I don't think it does, because it's not preparation that becomes worry. Preparation, in fact, creates excitement. So if something important is in store for us in the future and we are preparing for it today, it will add on to our excitement, it will add on to our energy. But if we start thinking of what will happen and what if this happen and that doesn't happen and what if that happens and etc., is when we get stuck with worries, and worries don't help us much. So before we understand this any further, I want you to take a moment and share with me what worries you most of the times, or some worries on your mind as we speak. What are some of your worries? You may put it down in comments, but I would encourage you to definitely put it down on a piece of paper. I'm sure you have a notebook in front of you right now, as I always encourage you to have whenever we are in any learning environment. It's important that you have your notebook handy so that you can make notes of some important things that you're taking away from the session. So please make a note of things that worry you. Most of the times, what do you worry about? Thanks. So Milan says health, Kailash is talking about health again. What are other areas of life that worry you? Career, something to do with career. Am I going too slow? Am I not doing something right? What will my career look like? Economic stability, absolutely, Ritesh, right? Financially, am I doing fine? Will I have enough for tomorrow? Am I planned well for retirement? Have I planned well for my children? These are some of the worries that we could be facing, right? Health does not keep pace with work. Yeah, absolutely. Sometimes we are more driven with work, and that's when health gets compromised. And we, somewhere at the back of our mind, we worry that if I'm not healthy enough, all this hard work that I'm doing, the money that I'm earning, how good is this going to be? So that could be a concern. Absolutely. Family, having permanent financial security. Yes, absolutely, Deepak. Well said. Well said. Growth in career, health in career. Absolutely. Absolutely. Sleeping disorder worries you. So, one particular health issue that you're facing probably right now could be a concern or worry. Coping up with work, startup, sales. Yeah. So, sales, business growth. Absolutely. Thank you. Thank you for sharing. And I'm sure you're writing this down as well. And as you write this down, I need you to make a nice big circle on a blank piece of paper. Let's make a nice circle. You got it? You have a nice circle there? Say done in comments if you've made that circle in your notebook. Say done. You have a nice circle there on one big blank piece of paper. Super. So with that done, let's have another concentric circle around it, which means it's using the same center, create a bigger circle around this smaller circle. So now you have two circles, one small circle and one bigger circle with the same center. Done? Done? Super. Yeah, children could be a concern. We could worry about them. Absolutely. Done. You have the two circles in place. Wonderful. Now, the inner circle is what we call as the circle of influence. And the outer circle is what we call as the circle of concern. Even if you've heard this concept before, I want you to hear it like you've never heard it before, because the context here for today is worry. We worry about all these things that you have written, right? Now, let us plot these worries on these two circles, and then I will give you a technique to deal with it in a better manner. First, let's get some realization in place. We've got two circles. The inner circle is the circle of influence. What does that mean? This includes things that you can do, or how you behave, how you act, how you think, how you feel. All of that is in your circle of influence. Got it? Anything outside of this is outside the circle of influence. It's in the circle of concern. So, what is in the circle of concern? How others behave, what others say, what others do, how others feel, right? So, anything to do with anybody other than you is in the circle of concern. Got it? Now, I want you to look at any one of your worries. For example, career. I don't know if I'm going to grow in my career, if that's the worry. Is that in your circle of influence? Is there something I can do about it? Then the answer is yes, it's in my smaller circle, the circle of influence. If there is nothing I can do about it, or I am already doing everything I can today, what this is as much as I can do today, and I'm doing that, then it falls in my circle of concern. Are you following this? So if you think that whatever is worrying you, there is something you can do about it today, then it will sit in your circle of influence. However, if you feel that there is nothing you can do about it, or you have already done whatever you could, or you are already doing whatever you can, then this worry will sit in the circle of concern. For example, we don't know how much money we might need in the future, but I am making investments today in the best possible way I can. If that's the scenario, then financial stability for me will sit in my circle of concern. If I flip this around and use the same example, financial stability is what worries me, and I'm not investing as much as I can, or I have not started investing as of now, then it sits in my circle of influence. Got that? Now tell me, if you had, say, 3 or 5 worries listed, how many of them are in your circle of influence? Give me a percentage. How many of them are in your circle of influence? Things that you can do, something you can do about it. Give me a percentage in the chat box, please. Yes, uncertainty will always remain, but this is what I can do. This is all that I can do, right? This is what I know best. This is what I can do best today. If that's where you are, then that particular worry is in your circle of concern. Are you following this? Give me a percentage of worries which are in your circle of influence basis what I explained. 50% is outside, 50% is inside for Suraj, right? 50% is in influence, 50% in concern. That's the same for Kailash as well. For Weber, 55 is in influence. For Rajat, 70% is in the circle of influence. Means you can do something about it and you know that. Wonderful. Shilpa, 10% is in your circle of influence. Okay. 90% is in your circle of concern. Are you understanding and realizing where is this going? 50% is influence, 50% concern for you, Malar. 70% you can influence, 30% is concern. Ashika, the opposite for you. 30% influence, 70% concern. Now listen to this. This in itself, I know, has opened up something in you. You are looking at what I want you to see. Look at your piece of paper. Look at these 2 circles. Whatever is in your circle of influence is all that you need to look at. Because what is in your concern will always be a concern. If there is something I can do about it, then I will do what I need to do about it. If there is something I cannot do anything about, then I cannot do anything about it. For example, I can guide my child. I can provide the best to my child. But if I want my child to become not this, but that, a different person, or kind of bring in those, personality traits that I wish my child had, that's wishful thinking. Because let me tell you one thing, no one can change anyone. You cannot. But the only person you can change is you. And that's what we need to divert our energies towards. Wherever your attention goes is where energy flows, right? If your attention is going in the circle of concern, imagine it to be spreading out all over the place. That is why you feel all over the place. Exhausted, tired, frustrated, angry, because you're trying your best, but you're getting no results. Why? Because you're aiming at something which is not in your circle of influence. There is nothing you can do about it. Now let's look at things that you can do something about. Some of you have only 10% worries left. Are you looking at this? Some of you have 50% worries left. 50% of your worries are gone because you're realizing clearly that you can't do anything about it. It is in your circle of concern. If you cannot do anything about it, then why worry? If you can do something about it, then let's see how to deal with worry. So what are you left with from your list of 100 worries? You're left with only 50. Some of you are left with only 10. Are you getting this? Say got it in the comments. Say got it. Are you already feeling a little more relaxed? That all right. Even if it is 60%, 40% of my worry is gone because it's in the circle of concern. I cannot do anything about it. Got it? Can we take a nice sigh of relief? This is an amazing, amazing work done already. Half of your worries are gone. Can you believe that? And we've yet to discuss the techniques because no technique can be used if that worry sits in my circle of concern. Are we clear about that? There is no technique to do something that we cannot do anything about. And you can continue to keep worrying, and that can be your hobby. And if you're enjoying it, all the best, go for it. But there is nothing that we're going to get out of that. We need to be clear about that. Now, I want to give you 2 very powerful techniques for worries sitting within your circle of influence. Are you ready? Give me a ready in comments. What an amazing progress we've made already. Do you see this? 50% of worries gone. Why? With that one single realization that if I cannot do anything about something, There is no point worrying. I'm going to exhaust myself. Energy is limited. Energy for all of us is limited. Where are you going to divert this energy is the game changer. That's what matters. That's what takes us to another level of success. That's what enhances the quality of our life. What is it that I can do? That's what matters. What is it that I can do? Whenever you are outside the circle of influence, what will you lose? Peace. What will you lose? Happiness. Immediately. If you think that there is no peace in my life, come back to these two circles and say, okay, where am I sitting right now? Can I come back to the circle of influence? You will immediately find a way to connect with your peace. This is a guru mantra. I'm telling you, Brahmastra, as we call it. Use this every single time you feel you're all over the place. Now, let me give you the two techniques. The first is called worry expression. Write this down, please. Worry expression. What does this mean? This means if I'm worrying about something, I am going to write down. The key is to write down, not just to keep thinking. Write down what is the worst case scenario. I'm worrying about my health. All right. I know I can do something about it, and I need to start gymming, or I need to start my yoga, or I need to start eating healthy, or I need to look at my sleep cycle. I know, but I'm not doing anything. So the first thing is low hanging. What is the low hanging fruit here? Start doing what you know you should do. There is no rocket science there, and nobody else can do it for you. Right? So next time you criticize yourself for the way you look in the mirror, you need to know that you are the one to be blamed. If you don't like what you see, then stop talking and start doing. Get into the action mode because you are clear about the action. There is no how to needed over there. You clear. Right? Now, if you are worrying about something which is in your circle of influence, write down what is the worst case scenario. And now, for a moment, imagine that that worst case scenario happens. Now, what? What is it that you can do to deal with that situation if and when it happens? This is very powerful. I need you to try this out to see how it works for you. Let me explain this again. This is my worry. I'm worried that my boss doesn't like me. Or my boss and I have had an argument, and this argument could have an impact on my career. Right? I have been working so hard. I've been a top performer, but the last heated argument could take my career down. And I am just worrying about that constantly. Is it in my circle of influence? I feel it is because I could have probably dealt with the situation in a better way. And I can probably do something more consciously today to mend this relationship. So I think it sits in my circle of influence. Got it so far with this example? Okay. Now, what is the worst case scenario? The worst case scenario is that I actually get a lower performance rating. Let's look at that. Then what? So what? So what happens? Will I quit or will I not quit? Will I continue or will I not continue with my hard work? Will I continue to focus? Will I not continue to focus? Now, the heated argument should not have happened is you going into the past. That is not in your circle of influence anymore because it has happened. Now it's happened. It's done. What's done is done. Correct? I'm drawing my learning from it. I'm putting my realization, all of that. Fantastic. Very good. Much needed. But now with this learning, I need to go forward and face the next day. I need you to write this statement down. It's very, very important and relevant when it comes to understanding worries and how they do disservice to us. Avoiding worry increases worry. Avoiding worry increases the intensity of worry. Whatever we resist will persist. This is a universal law. It's not about you believing in it or not. It's a universal law. That's how it works. Whatever you resist will persist. So stop avoiding worries. The more you avoid, the more energy you're putting there in the process of just avoiding. Stop avoiding it, put it in front of you. Yeah, what is this whole nonsense going on in my head? I'm worrying about this. I'm going to give words to my worry. I'm going to articulate my worry and put it on a piece of paper. I will bring out the deepest fear related to that on a piece of paper in front of me right now. If it is about me dying, I will die because of my health issues. Yeah, I will die. Now I'm going to put it. Okay, the worst case scenario is I will die. The moment you write there, I will die, you will realize that one day you will. No matter how healthy or unhealthy you are, one day you will. So then what? So then I want to live happily and in a healthy way till I'm alive. Okay, so then what? Then I need to bring in the right routine. What is that? That is for me to look at my sleep cycle and make a few necessary corrections. What will that look like? And that will bring you to a point where two things will happen. Number one, the worst case scenario will not look as scary as it looks in your head. Number two, you will be clear about what action you can take today to not get there tomorrow. If you keep it in your head and if you keep snubbing and suppressing the worry is only going to grow more intense for you. So stop avoiding your worry and put it there. This is called as worry expression. Express it, give it words, because when you don't give it words, you give it power. Listen to this. When you don't give words to your worry, you give power to your worry. If you want to take that power back, give it words and see that big thing that you have made in your head will look this tiny, this small little thing. And you know exactly what you need to do about it. Powerful, say powerful or not. Are you taking something away? Is this opening up something for you? Are you learning the technique to deal with worry? Learning something, is it powerful? And I have one more to share in the next 2 minutes. Yes? I want to know if it's opening up something for you. You've got to practice this. It's a technique, and the power is in the practice. Whatever is that big worry, put it on a piece of paper, follow the instructions I've shared, and then see what happens. It will be like this big balloon which was suffocating you and pressing you against the wall. And what you've done now is you've taken that little needle from your pocket and pierced it. And that balloon has lost all its power. And now it's a little piece of rubber lying on the floor. That's all there is to it. That's all. That worry is just this little bit. The thing that takes away the worry is the action we need to do today, the action we need to take today. Super, instead of endlessly worrying. Unless you're enjoying the process, then be my guest, continue. But if you're not enjoying the process, this is the technique to deal with it. Second, the second technique is what I call as worry period. Please write this down. Worry period. What is worry period? I want you to block half an hour in your calendar once a week where you will just sit and worry. I mean it. This is no joke. It's a technique. For that half an hour, those 30 minutes, you will just sit with a piece of paper and write down everything that worries you. Anything and everything. The smallest of worries to the biggest of worries, you will just keep writing down all your worries for half an hour, and you will time this. You will time this. It cannot go on and on. So you will start your timer or use your alarm clock and give yourself 30 minutes only. Your time is precious. I don't want you to spend even 1 minute extra on this, but you need to give yourself a worry period once a week. If the worry comes and visits you before or after this slot, you need to talk to your worry and say, hey, hang on, you know what? I have an appointment fixed with you. Okay. You will get my calendar time. You will get some time with me. It is on Friday, 3 to 3:30 p.m. Come and visit me at that time. I'm busy right now. I'm making something of my life. Are you understanding this? So let worry come and say, hey, what will happen? Then what will happen for your health? What will happen? Will your children respect you? Will they continue? What will happen with your money? Say, yeah, I get that. I listen to your concerns. Visit me in my that 30-minute slot, which is on Friday for that 30 minutes, or on Saturday for the 30 minutes, whatever slot works for you. Use a Sunday if you want to use a Sunday for this, but it's going to be a very, very, very productive slot that adds a lot more energy and productivity to the rest of your week. Are you listening to this? Worry period is where you will park all your worries and you will keep writing it down on a piece of paper. Once that is done, shred this paper into pieces and throw it away. I don't want you to use a notebook to make a note of this. You don't need to go back to this. This is no reference point at all. This is you venting it out of your system. That's it. I'm acknowledging it. I can see it. I don't want to avoid it anymore. So I'm going to write down what are all my big and small worries, and I will keep writing it down. And there is no need for any analysis post that. Just look at it out of my system. These are the things that I worry about. Wonderful. If you don't feel complete with that and you think, okay, if I don't do anything in this 30 minutes, it will keep coming to me, put those two circles again. See what sits in the circle of influence. Come with one action point, tear this piece of paper, and move on to your 31st minute with what is planned on your calendar outside of your worries. Have you got that? So there are two techniques: worry expression and worry period. Whenever you are worried about something endlessly, give it words and see where it sits, and accordingly decide on an action plan that can be taken today. Put your worst case scenario and see where it takes you. The second is worry period. Do not get sucked into this self created dramas called worry. Give it some time in your calendar and allow it to come in only in that time slot. You have better things to do with your life. And I want you to be clear about your priorities. Worrying endlessly is not one of them, I'm sure. I hope this helps you, and these techniques can add more quality to your life and take away less energy from your very valuable time and valuable life. I want you to value every single minute that you live. And I want you to learn how to live that a lot more. So let's bring in a lot more freedom in the way we live and enjoy life by letting go of worries, knowing that it's an absolute waste of time. And remember, the more you avoid it, the more powerful it becomes. Let's stop avoiding it, bring it in front of us, and follow the techniques to deal with it. I hope this was useful. I would love to know how this works out for you. So please do share your comments, and let's stay connected. And I want to see you again next week with another important insight into leadership and spirituality in our leadership satsang sessions. Thank you for staying connected and for coming in week after week. I also want us to continue our conversations on other social media platforms. Yukti Talks is my handle on Insta, and Yukti Mehendirata is my YouTube handle, where I wish to add a lot more content, but there's enough that you can benefit from already. So please do check it out and share your comments and feedback, which means a lot to me. Thank you so much. Take good care of yourself. And I do intend to wish you from the core of my heart absolute freedom in the real sense, so that you can enjoy your beautiful life. God bless you all. Thank you.